challenge your assumptions, to reach beyond what you think you know about your customers and your audience, and take the time to deeply understand and gain that first-hand knowledge of what resonates and why, so that you can tune your product and your message. A lot of people talk about product market fit. We specialize in message market fit, iteratively refining your messaging until you find what resonates by testing your assumptions, building a messaging prototype, presenting it to customers and partners, getting their feedback, revising it again and again until you find resonance. And you've achieved that both on the product side and the messaging side because you were open to empathy. And that starts with the leader.
Well, thank you. But the word of message market fit and product market fit, I had never heard of just as an advisor, because we just don't talk about those things. And all of a sudden you get into a different business, the thing's different, works different, and you hear that being said over and over again. And what I started realizing I was doing is I was trying to take a product market fit and I was trying to force it because I didn't really truly understand the message market fit. And as soon as I realized the message market fit, what happened is the product modified and changed to meet that. So the product market fit and the message market fit aligned together. And as soon as you have that happening, that's where you start noticing things start taking off and things start picking up. And that was a huge eye opener for me. I think for advisors listening to that, you've worked with advisors and you've done rebranding for advisors as well, haven't? And so quick question on that. When you work with advisors and you're talking about messages and marketing for them, what do you find is kind of the thing that holds most advisors back in the right messaging?
I think it's a great question from a messaging development standpoint. And I like what you said there about product market fit and message market fit informing one another. To me, they're like the double helix of a DNA strand.
Yeah.
You learn something more about the messaging and that informs the product. You learn something more about the product and you learn something more about the messaging. And so this process of refinement is iterative and it is fueled by curiosity. So the most curious advisors are the ones that end up having the best books of business because they take time to listen and defer judgment.
Let's talk about the timing of this, right? Because one of the things that I struggle horribly being patient, right? And speed is everything, right? Revenue, let's get there quick. Let's do this quick. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, surely this branding process must take a couple hours. So come on, Jed, let's go. Let's get started. It's not for the faint of heart, right? The questions and this pursuit and challenging the assumptions, it takes time. And initially, I didn't see, it's like anything. You started running the 800 meter, you didn't see the results in the first week. Actually, what you did was you felt pain, your legs were cramping, your feet hurt. I don't know. I was not crazy enough to run the 800. But in business, you feel that when you go through this branding process. There's initial pain and there's initial push through. And then you come around the fourth corner, or that last corner, and then you have that pivotal moment, the make it or break it, where am I going to subdue or submit, or am I going to persevere and push through? And after about 2 weeks of working together, I started seeing the gains and then the incremental gains, and it was slowly, suddenly. And that's how I would describe our relationship, was slowly. And then all of a sudden, when message fit and product fit came together, it was like it just took off and we knew we had something special.
That specialness was in you. And we see our role at Backstory, you mentioned being the coach, as drawing out the greatness from our client partners and clarifying and articulating it in a way that resonates with them and their customers. Matt, you've worked so long and hard at developing your expertise in the financial services arena, and Jared in marketing, leadership, and operations. It would have been a shame to let something less than your greatness go to market. And that's something that you have to choose. You have to choose to be great. There's an inspirational metaphor we like to use at Backstory. I had the opportunity to go to Florence with my wife a couple of years ago, and as impressive as the David is, 17 feet tall, its proportions are perfect. You can't imagine that a human being created that beautiful piece of art, that sculpture. Lining the corridor leading up to the David are unfinished sculptures of Michelangelo's, and they call those the prisoners. And it's amazing the emotion you can feel coming out of these stones. It's an inanimate object. It's not alive, but somehow you feel like these people that are partly exposed are forever stuck because they didn't get the chance to be fully revealed. And we really believe in revealing the greatness in great brands and the people who lead them. That's our purpose at Backstory. But you have to have a willing participant. And I had to be willing to do the workouts to achieve my goal of going sub 2. And you had to be willing to do the work to reveal the greatness in you and your brand. So the work that's required is interdependent. The coach can't do it for you. You have to be willing to take their guidance. And that was what made our engagement so successful.
Yeah, that's powerful. I'm sitting here seeing these statues just stuck in this cement, not able to move. And Jed, I remember a conversation that we had after we were talking about the name, and man, it took forever for us to figure this name out. We were just racking our brains. And I said, why not Advisor Branch, man? Like, come on, why not? And I'll never forget, he said this, Advisor Branch limits you. And he said that because Matt Walker, our CEO, his vision is so big. Just wait, you'll see it over the next few years. And he said, Jed, being him, said, don't waste the time limiting yourself when you should be expressing yourself. And I'll never forget that. And that just stuck with me. And it took a whole new meaning on this naming process. Oh man, this is a little bit bigger than just saying it's good, let's run fast.
You said it perfectly. I mean, that is the I guess maybe I will add something. The concept of the advisor, and we said, well, some people identify as agents because they're, insurance type people. And we found as we built a product that is making things easy for financial professionals, we're making things easy for people. Finances is hard. Organization is hard. And we want to make that easy. And all of a sudden you now have a tool that can make it easy. And you don't realize how you're making it easy for lots of other people. And all of a sudden I started realizing I was completely limiting what we were doing. And it like I said, it was within me. It just had to be dragged out a little bit.
Yeah, the greatness is in there. And Michelangelo said he just revealed or removed anything that wasn't the angel, meaning the David.
Yeah.
So we just had to remove anything that wasn't swivel. And eventually we got to the core concept behind it. And I love the idea of making financial management easy, your purpose that we've talked about, and the way that you make it possible for all of your financial accounts to be visible in one view, whether it's insurance products or investment products. No one had ever taken that on because I think people had grown accustomed to thinking that's just the way things are. And when I had a year-end meeting with my financial advisor recently, and I watched him open up all the screens, and he expressed frustration. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned swivel to him. He said, you've got to share that with me because I deal with this issue every day. And he's one of the best practitioners in our area. So if he is struggling with it, of course, everybody else is struggling with it. So you drew a good ride, as they say. It's a high-scoring bucking bronco to try to ride that out and tame that wild Mustang of a problem. So you were already committed to tackling it from a product development standpoint. There's an equal investment required of us when it comes to putting together the right brand presentation, positioning, messaging, and ultimately engagement and connection with customers.